It's been chilly lately, and I've been feeding my sourdough starter. It's been rising periodically. I reckon we should make sourdough bread and butter. Back to the studio. Taking a few tablespoons of starter, mixing it thoroughly with warm water till it forms a slurry. Once ready, I'm mixing the measured bread and whole wheat flour. I always work with a bench scraper, using one hand to knead the dough and the other to scrape the ball. I knead it till it forms a homogeneous dough ball. Here I let it rest covered with a cloth for 20 minutes. This is known as ortolese. I'd made a mixture of sea salt and warm water. The warm water helps disperse the salt homogeneously when kneading it into the dough. Thereafter, I keep it covered with a cloth for 30 minutes. While handling dough, I wet my hands with tap water. It prevents the dough from sticking to my finger. After 30 minutes, I remove the cloth and pull on the dough by grabbing onto its perimeter and folding it onto itself. I repeat this till it forms a round ball. This helps to trap air and also form gluten bonds. I cover it again with the cloth and let it rest for 30 minutes. I repeat, folding the dough onto itself, forming a ball and then covering the cloth 4 to 6 times over a span of 4 hours. Late evening, when it has noticeably become larger, I generously dust the top with bread flour and divide into 2 equal pieces. I pre-shape them into balls, making sure the seam sits at the bottom and let rest for 30 minutes. The seams at the bottom of the bowl close up, thereafter dusting each one of the bowls in rice flour and placing them gently in little banneton baskets. Letting them rise in the baskets till they are proved 80% of the way. Covering them with plastic bags so they stay moist. The fridge helps slow down the process and attributes an unmistakable sour flavor to the bread. An overnight ferment. I preheat my Dutch oven to a preheated oven. Now it's time to bake. Retrieving my sourdough baskets from the fridge, I carefully flip them over on the parchment paper, then dusting the top with a mixture of bread and whole wheat flour. Grabbing a sharp blade, I make the 2 deep incisions for the bread prior to placing it in the preheated Dutch oven. Halfway through the baking process, removing the lid from the Dutch oven brings about a wonderful caramelized crust. I decided, since the bread has to rest for a few hours, I make good use of my time and whisk some heavy cream till it splits into butter, fat and whey. Straining the whey to gather just the butter and seasoning lightly with salt. Well, the bread is ready, the crust is crunchy, yet the inside is pliable and giving. Assertively cutting into the bread, I realize I'm moments away from chewing into my own sourdough, harking back to days when I would make thousands of these loaves every day at 5 in the morning. I miss those days. The butter had slightly hardened due to the cool weather. Oh well, it's just homemade bread and butter.